Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a full review to do for you. This is the Renegade Provisions Co. GOM, or the God of Mischief. And guys, I gotta say, this is a wonderful knife. An absolutely fantastic knife, and I am so glad that I pre-ordered 2 of them. I know I keep saying that, but like that's the way I can put how good it is, right? So let's dive into it. This is a design by Chris Rossiter of Renegade EDC / Renegade Provisions Co. Go check out Renegade Provisions Co. He does hanks and other stuff as well as knives. And I gotta say, his hanks are the best on the market. The microfiber's top notch. They actually keep working. I feel like most hanks, I use them a couple times and then they're just useless. So highly recommend him in general and his products. But yeah, I've also had the Gungnir, which is his first design, big boy knife. Absolutely fantastic build quality, great knife, just a huge knife. So I own it still. I love it. It just doesn't get a ton of pocket time because of the size, and it's loaned out right now. So he came out with this. This is the God of Mischief, or GOM. All his knives seem to have some kind of throw to the old Norse mythology. God of Mischief, Loki. There you go. And what he wanted to do here was bring a more reasonable size knife with multiple deployment options and a sort of Wharncliffe blade. And I think he nailed it. He also wanted it to be a knife that could be used for work and not necessarily just to play with. So he went ahead and threw a flat grind on this versus the hollow grind he had on the Gungnir, because he had people say he should have went flat grind on the Gungnir, being such a big beefy work knife. It made more sense, right? So he went ahead and he did it here, so people who really like to hard use their knives will have no issue with this. I think personally I would have preferred a hollow grind just because of the steepness of the grind, the size of the knife, the Wharncliffe, and because it's me. I just personally don't do things where a flat grind is necessary. I don't do hard enough use stuff that I need to worry about the issues you get with a hollow grind where it's nice and thin. I want it to be nice and thin and slicey, right? So that's just personal preference, but I wanted to mention it. You can see that I've used this knife a bit, and I've really enjoyed it. I've had it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days now, and I'm going to bring it down to Blade Show, so probably pass it on to the next person, and I wanted to get my full review done before then. So let's dive into it. Aesthetically, it's gorgeous. I've been raving about this knife since I first saw it. It does have some hints of my own design, which is the Debo Knives Stout. And I think maybe that's part of it. I saw this after I designed this, and, you know, it kind of sparks a little bit of that in me. And you can clearly see it's a similar sort of aesthetic. And so obviously I'm going to like it. In general, I love a sheep's foot Wharncliffe blade. I love a nice neutral handle. I love a good finger choil, especially a 50-50 choil. I love a hole for deployment. There's just a lot of things here that a bolster lock. I just, you know, it works for me personally as a lefty and a person so much that I just fell in love with this knife instantly, and I waited and waited for it to come out. And I ordered 2 immediately when they dropped. I got the all black one, and then I got the natural micarta one with the stonewash blade, and both with the milled clip. You have an option for milled clip or wire clip. You can get this green micarta, you can get natural or black micarta. You can also get a fully blacked out one. So options are endless. These are available on his website right now. The link is in the description. Go to Renegade Provisions Co., go to Knives, and then you'll see the options there. This is a $350 pre-order. It is a pre-order, and they are set to be delivered in like November this year. He put the order in like early 2022, and he just opened the pre-order up, so it's not as long as a normal Riot pre-order, but it's still going to be a good while because it's Riot. All right. So we talked about aesthetics. It's beautiful. I love the micarta. Transitions are absolutely fantastic. The pivot collars are fantastic. Obviously, you have that belt satin right there. I thought it was going to be a stonewash, though. So, I don't know. That might be a change, or I just misunderstood on the website. I love the titanium bolsters. I just love everything about it. I think the 3D milled clip goes perfectly with this design. That's why I went with that over the wired clip. Sorry, wire clip. Really nice backspacer that kind of floats a little bit in there. There's a lanyard post if you're a lanyard guy. I'm not, but, you know, whatever. Bolster lock design, so just fantastic. Nice front flipper right there, and a beautiful hole. So, hard to go wrong, and it comes down to that beautiful Wharncliffe blade. So, ergonomics, oh man, if you hold it in this back grip, it melts in your hand. It's wonderful. If you hold it in this choked up grip, it's wonderful. Now, one negative I do have on it is me personally, my large glove size hand, when I'm in this grip, my thumb lands right here. And it's right where that sort of crown is. And it's a little bit pokey dokey. It's not the best. Now, normal EDC doesn't matter, right? But if you're like hard using this, that could be an issue for you. I could grind up here if I want, but then, I don't know, grind? What am I talking about? I could, you know, ride up here, but that's not great either because this is nice and thin up here. It's not meant to be used like that. You kind of want to stop right here, right? And the way my thumb wants to land is up here. So that's just a personal thing. I can always just hold it back here, and then I'm kind of right here, and it's fine. So I think the ergonomics are fantastic. The carry's good. I mean, it's got relatively, you know, weighty. It's like 4.5 ounces, but it doesn't carry like 4.5 ounces. It carries like 3 ounces. You know what I mean? It's not, that's a spec. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm not a spec guy, because specs don't always line up with reality. You know what I mean? You can have a 3-ounce knife that carries heavier than this. It's just how it goes. So it carries great. The clip works great. Retention's great. Tucks against the seam really well. I carried this in my back left pocket. Disappeared. Really, it was fantastic to carry in just regular like khaki shorts. So no issues on carry. Cutting. The little bit of cutting I did do, I cut down some boxes. I opened some boxes and I cut some shipping labels out. And it went through it like nobody's business. Now, it's pretty decent stock, and you have the grind starts here. So it's not the thinnest knife behind the edge by any means, but it's very, very nice. And I think for EDC purposes, it's going to be fantastic. And then for, you know, harder use tasks, it's going to be perfect. You know what I mean? And you get into this pinch grip for your shipping labels and anything like that, utility cutting wise, it's just money. It just feels really good in the hand. My finger wants to slide right up to the top here and get good precision on that tip, and you're good to go. Really enjoyed that. The cutting is fantastic. This is M390 steel, by the way. Sounds. Sounds are great. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's not like best of the world kind of sounds, but definitely very satisfying, I'd have to say. All right, so let's get into the final category, which is action, fidget factor, etc. It's great, guys. The flipper tab is just perfect. It rounds up and around. The jimping goes all the way around. It's so good. And you get enough height on it that you can just grab it from the tippy top. Oh, I mean, that was the first time I ever missed it, but it's because I tried to flip it from up here. But literally, like, I'm all the way at the top. You can still get it. Really, really good. I got used to where the front flipper is, as you can tell. I think in the unboxing a couple of times I was doing this and kind of getting caught, like right here, having my finger get caught. And that always happens to me with front flippers. I just have to get used to them, and that's exactly what happened, and now it's dialed in, no issue. I would say the flipper tab is not too big. I initially was kind of thinking that. I like that you get enough leverage on it. Because of that, they were able to keep the detent where they did, and it makes the hole for deployment very snappy, so I really enjoy that. The hole is good. I do kind of wish there was a little more of a hole, or I had a little more access or something. But I think the next thing I'm going to tell you will negate that. So I was going to say you either need to lighten this detent a touch, which is really crazy for me to say. This detent is rather stiff for a front flipper / hole knife. But the other option, which is what he's doing, is he's adding this sort of step jimping around the hole. If you look at the Gungnir, it has that. Now, it's going to be a little less aggressive than that because that was a little too aggressive. And what that does is it catches your finger a lot better. And I think that's going to take care of this, where I'm going to be able to flick it every time, no problem. Because right now, I do miss it occasionally because the detent is rather stout. And no pun intended. It's rather stout, and I just kind of slip out of there sometimes. And even though I love a detent like that, it's just with this hole, it's just how it's happening, right? So I think that's going to be a fantastic change. And I really don't want the detent to get lighter. You know what I mean? It just seems like it might have to. But now we don't have to worry about that. You can get it with the thumb, but you got to stay off this lock bar. Even with a bolster lock, you can get on that lock bar. And I think it's also just me and the detent. Left-handed, I'm a little bit better at it. But obviously, reverse flick and your front flip are the way to go on this knife. Action's great. On the close, if you let it, it will swing down. And yeah, it'll close, it'll hit your nail, and then you can let it drop. Very, very smooth. It's not dropped shut like guillotine, but it's very controlled glide sort of shut. It's not like, it won't drop on its own, but if you give it just a little encouragement, it'll make it down. It's really, really smooth. I've really enjoyed that. Okay, anything I want to talk about negative-wise? So originally I was looking at it and I was like, is that tip going to get me? But no, there's really no way to even get in there and get it. I can't. So, nope. Biggest issue with this knife, I think it's the same one I had with the Gungnir, and it's just the lock bar access. The way he does the bolsters, you just don't get enough in here. Like, you don't get enough room in here to get in there. You have to be really deliberate with it, and then it's fine, right? It's not like the end of the world. And this is much better than the Gungnir. For me personally, on the Gungnir, I really struggle to get in there because it's such a small gap in the area where you get where the bolster until it hits the micarta, if that makes sense. I know I'm just kind of babbling there, but it is chamfered here, so you can push there, but it's kind of hard because you're pushing against the micarta. Yeah, you can kind of train yourself, but I just would prefer something different. Maybe bring it back a little bit so you have a little more room to get in, because sometimes I'll slide across and miss it. Is it a big deal? No. Would it stop me from buying the knife? No. It's just like preference. I'd love to have a little more room there. But yeah. And then the other thing is it's just a couple corners like this I would knock down, which is going to be knocked down. So on the production version, I believe this corner and that corner are going to be knocked down. He's going to add that jimping. I can't remember if there's anything else that's going to happen, but he'll do whatever he needs to make it better. And it's going to be a sweet, sweet knife. I'm very excited. Like I said, 2 on pre-order, and I do not regret that whatsoever. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And yeah, thank you to Chris for letting me check this out, dude. I really appreciate it. It's a fantastic piece. I cannot wait for mine to come in. Highly recommend you guys pick one up. They're still available, which is crazy. And yeah, I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.